Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Well, welcome home, family. It's your mom and dad. Yeah. God, it's so corny. Hooray.
We do it every time, and it's like, we don't even think about how ridiculous it is. We clap for ourselves.
We clap for
There's no one here.
Just the way that we say it in sync is so corny.
It's so dumb. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, everyone, it's 1950. What are we doing, dude?
I don't know. What are we doing? Hey, guy, what are we doing, man?
Hey, dude, what are we doing? We need to do another cover.
Okay, I have to tell you though, family, Evan, I am currently in the middle of a situation that I don't know. I made a mistake. Okay, right before we started recording, I made a mistake. I was on my Instagram follow list. I was specifically looking for this one Instagram page. I was like, I forget the name of it, but I know I follow them. So I was scrolling through, and in the midst of my scrolling, my finger hit the follow button, and I unfollowed a friend. And here's the thing. It's not like it's a good friend, but it's a good friend that I had a while ago that her and I haven't spoken in a long time. And the issue is this. If I push follow again,
then she sees it. Then she thinks you had unfollowed her for a while.
Her. I haven't talked to her in a long time.
When was the last time you talked to her?
A while.
Like years?
Yeah, it's one of those friends that it's like, I love her so dearly. And now I feel bad even saying that, like, I haven't chatted with her in so long, but she's just one of those relationships that, like,
after a certain phase,
you know, like really good friends kind of growing up and in high school, and then after college we just kind of went our separate ways and haven't really stayed in communication. But I see her on Instagram and is definitely like, oh, like we'll DM every once in a while, but we haven't like spoken or seen each other. It feels very weird that I'm like, do I
reach out?
I just need to send her a message and just be like, hey, just FYI, I accidentally unfollowed you, so when I'm following you again now. But that feels weird too, because that also feels, does that feel sus to you?
Well, there's a couple things.
I've done this before and I stress out every time.
Well, there's multiple problems here. First of all, you unfollowed her, so then you refollowed her. So now she thinks you hadn't been following her.
I haven't refollowed her yet because I'm stressing over this conundrum.
If you refollow, then it looks like you just followed her, which means that she goes, wait, has she unfollowed me for a long time?
That's what I'm saying.
Did she unfollow me because we have beef that I'm unaware of? Is this weird now? Right. Then if you reach out and say, hey, just so you know, I accidentally hit the unfollow button. I refollowed you, love you. I'm here for your journey forever. Would never unfollow you. Ha ha ha, t. Right?
Okay.
T ha t he he. Right? If you do this, then you're reaching out to someone you haven't talked in a long time. Oh yeah, here's the problem. Why are you on her profile randomly? Because that's kind of weird. It's kind of like you're also then confessing to just like scoping her profile randomly.
I don't think that's right, but I wasn't on her profile. I was on my follow list and I was scrolling and my finger hit the follow button.
Oh.
I was trying to find a specific profile that I forgot the name of.
Yeah, by the way, I hate that they do that.
The fact that there's not like are you sure you want to unfollow is jarring to me.
Really?
Yes.
There's not are you sure you want to unfollow?
No.
So because I've done that with the follow and I'm like,
and then you're like, oh.
Jeez, I really hope they have a lot of followers because I do not want to accidentally follow them. You know what I mean?
But also...
Same goes for the like. You know what I mean? You accidentally like a photo and you're just like, oh yeah, who's this person? And you click, you're just scrolling and all of a sudden you click and you're like, and then you undo it hoping they don't see it.
Well, that's the classic X move, right? Where you're like, or like who you're trying to date, to someone you're interested in, you're deep in their profile and you accidentally hit a like.
Then deep scrolling and then hitting a like. Like, November 2013 like. That is wild.
I did that the other day, but luckily it was like a famous person, so they never would know. But I had that moment of chill where I'm like, oh, I remember those times where I've hit that like button deep in the follow or in the profile.
Follow accidentally, and I've hit like with people that like I don't necessarily really like, and I'm scrolling through like maybe think, or I'm talking about them and I'm like, oh yeah, remember on that thing, and we're deep in the thing going, yeah, that was the moment that this, and then I hit like, and you're like, and they got like 400 followers, so you're like, they saw that shit, you know what I mean? That's worst case scenario. I've done a couple of those before. It's terrifying.
It's so devastating. Okay, hold on. We have to take a quick pause.
Okay.
But now I don't know. It's like now I'm questioning myself.
Okay,
I'm questioning myself. Okay. I'm grateful for an idea.
Okay.
Family. So we have been trying to make a concentrated effort to spend more time outside. Get me off my phone. You see the damage I'm doing now. Okay. And summer is the perfect time for that. And we've been dreaming about putting together our perfect outdoor space in our backyard. And the only place we will turn to is Article, okay? Article's curated catalog of outdoor furniture is here to help you do all your favorite things this summer. They've got everything you really need to make things your own, from outdoor sofas to dining sets to decor. Everything is gorgeous.
I'm scoping their website hard right now for summer.
Yes.
And Article's flexible range of styles means you can do more with the space that you've got. Their curated assortment of mid-century modern, coastal, industrial, Scandinavian, and boho designs makes furniture shopping simple, and thanks to their online-only model, they have amazing prices as well. Also, Article's pieces are high quality. The pieces that we've had for over the years are still in such amazing shape, and Article offers fast, affordable shipping across the U.S. and Canada. Plus, they won't leave you waiting around. You pick the delivery time, and they'll send you the updates every step of the way.
You got to check out their website and browse. Seriously, like Evan was saying, so many good pieces right now, okay? Their pieces are gorgeous. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/momdad, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/momdad for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Okay, save me with your idea here.
Well, no, I think the key here is there beef?
No, not at all.
Okay, so everything's good. You just haven't talked to him very often in the past couple of years.
Of course, my automatic response is to send her a message and be like, hey, so sorry that I by accident hit the unfollow, and that's why I'm following back. I haven't been not following, and now I'm following, and just clear the air.
Yeah.
But there's this part of me, and maybe I'm just paranoid and too much of a people pleaser, but I'm like, she's gonna think that it's an excuse. She's gonna think it's a lie, that I'm making this shit up or something.
Yes, but
I might just be being too
I think
paranoid.
Well, it depends. So if this was like someone you worked with or something, or had beef with at one point and then you guys reconciled, like maybe I could see that. But if there's never been beef and you guys never like worked together or anything, then I think that there's no reason for her to think that there was an intentional. I think the key is to specify how you unfollowed. Hey, I was scrolling through my follows. As I was scrolling, I unfollowed like
my finger hit it.
Maybe move the truth a little bit and go,
no.
I unfollowed a couple of my friends accidentally, just refollowing, letting you know.
No, my finger was, as I was scrolling, I just hit the thing.
So then make it clear that that's how it happened. Don't say I accidentally unfollowed you, because that'll just sound like, how do you accidentally, you know what I mean? You need the exact, because even I was like, how do you accidentally unfollow? So what I would do is say, I was scrolling through my follows, my finger hit the unfollow, and then I realized, and I followed you back right away. Just want to let you know that I love you. By the way, how are you?
Yeah. I mean, I would love to start up a conversation anyway.
Okay, so if you're looking at that,
it's like,
so if it's all friendly, it's easy.
I should check in with her anyway.
Don't text her though. Because then that feels
strange.
Well, no, that feels like you did intentionally unfollow, and then you followed, and then you're like going out of your way to make it a big deal.
I'll send her a DM. I unfollow by accident surprisingly frequently.
Yeah.
And I blame my nails the way that then I will scroll. You know, you got to blame the nails. You know, Sheena, she's like, the nails.
She's like, I can't punch.
You can't, the nails can be dramatic. So I do it by accident all the time. But you know what energy I'm trying to have right now? And maybe I'll do this. I'll do this move. Even though I do want to reach out to this person in general. But maybe I'll pull off this move. Because recently I had a very good friend of ours who we've both been following each other on social media for years. We're very good friends.
Yeah.
Randomly follow me. So it looked like then, oh, she unfollowed. And all of a sudden I look in my follow and I'm like, oh, such and such just started following me. And I start going, oh my God, is there beef? Has she been unfollowing me? Like, was there a problem? Whatever. And I kind of spiraled for a second. And then she never said a word about it. She just followed me, never got a DM, never talked about it. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that because 99.9% likely is that she did exactly what I did by accident, hit unfollow, and then was just like, I'm just following her back. We're friends. Like, she's going to assume the best, right? So I was like, all right, I appreciate that move. That's a confident move where you're like, no, it was an accident, and now I'm following you.
Okay, 2 questions. One is, I know that when you're following someone, because obviously you're following this person, right? You're following, okay. So if you're following them, you can't tell if they're following you unless you go into their follows, correct?
No, you go on their page.
Yeah, but if you go on their page, it'll just say you're following, but you won't know if they're following you back. So my question is there a chance that she never followed you and it was just an accidental thing? Because I do that all the time accidentally. I'll be friends with people for years and not even realize that I hadn't followed them. And then I'll hit a follow and it'll be like, it's kind of, I mean, I've known the guy for 5 years and I just followed him.
So
is it possible that she's just been engaging with your content and then it's on her algorithm, you guys go back and forth and then you realize you never actually pressed the follow button?
No, she was definitely following me before.
Shit, all right, well.
But I know her. We're good.
You know that
everything's
it was accidental,
good.
probably.
But I kind of appreciate the level of confidence that goes, you know what? Like, I know she by accident unfollowed me, but she's just going to follow me. Because it's just social media, right? It's like, who cares? It's just social media. We know that we have a friendship.
Right.
So then she just follows me back, doesn't say anything. And I appreciate that confidence. And maybe I'm going to step into that.
But it also you could have not had that sweet, you could have started to really go, what the hell?
Like I said, for a second, I was like,
that's what
kind
I'm
of
saying.
like I was backtracking. I was like, did something happen that I'm unaware of?
Yeah.
But I also know her and she's just, she's confident. She's unapologetic. And I'm like, maybe I just got to take that energy up a little bit.
Right. Okay. All right. Well,
but knowing me, I'll just,
I was going to say, like, I don't see you just being like, I don't care what they think. Who cares what happens?
Got to be sending the friend that I just by accident unfollowed 4 paragraphs worth, like screen recordings. Like, this is how it happened.
First of all, I'd like to start today by saying, how are you? And it's been a long time. And I want to say that your journey on social media has been triumphant. I see that you have had 4 children. And by the way, they are amazing and their names are incredible. Second of all, great work on your job. You just go on this whole dissertation and in the very end, you just go, and by the way, accidentally pressed the unfollow, but just wanted you to know that as a very side note. I was going to hit you up anyway. Actually, that's why I was pressing on your account and I realized, whatever, long story short, blessings upon your family. I wish you nothing but gold and honey in your future. You say some like weird like 1500s references something. It's like
Bible verse.
Yeah, and then you've made it way more awkward by having multiple long messages, and then you add some like audio messages, and then a picture of us as a family. So you make it like this whole like end of year update. You know what I mean? And then you've spiraled.
That sounds more like me.
A couple missed calls on her phone. Hey, just wondering, I don't know if you saw my message on Instagram, but...
You haven't responded yet, so...
God, it's good to hear your voice on the voicemail, though. Man, remember that one time? And it just goes from, should I send her a message, to just...
Oh, God, it's too accurate. It's just the anxiety of it all. How ridiculous, though, that it's just spent 15 minutes talking about... panic about an accidental unfollow on social media. Well, we give it too much power.
We do give it too much power.
That's the conclusion.
But there are so many little idiosyncrasies of social media. Like, you know what's a big one?
What? Is
the classic don't tag you in a photo when everyone else is tagged.
Oh, yeah, that hurts. Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that hurts.
You know what I mean? Like there's a group photo and let's say there's 10 people in the photo and the person like tags like 6 of them.
Oh.
And you're just kind of like, was that intent? Was that a dig? Did they just forget?
And then you're like, they forgot about me and that kind of hurts
Well, what's worse? The thought of them intentionally not doing it, accidental. Are they kind of playing games? You could start to kind of question.
Oh, 100%.
Wait, I thought we were closer than that. Well, I thought they appreciated it. Oh, well, maybe not.
100%.
Because I didn't forget them. I tagged them 3 days ago in that thing. You know what I mean? You start going down this whole thing.
Stuff can even hurt too, where I remember, I think maybe Facebook sticks in my brain a little more because I was a little younger at that point. But even just the moments when you'd be out at a night out and someone has, at the time, a camera or whatever, and they're taking photos with everyone, and then they just don't take one with you, and then they upload.
Doesn't it feel intentional?
The album.
It feels like those are bad people. You know what I mean? It's hard not to go there. I know I'm not saying they are that way. I'm just saying it's hard not, even though we're all victim to it.
Yeah.
Like there's no question me or you have done that to other friends of ours, not realizing it happens all the time.
Oh, especially me. I'm so guilty of that because I get so caught up in moments and like fun conversations then that all of a sudden I'll fully forget like a photo or whatever, or I don't post because I'm just, having a good time.
It's the new version of I didn't get invited to the high school birthday party or something. It's still like,
totally.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, I didn't get tagged?
Oh, yeah, we had such a good time last night. Why weren't you there? I didn't. Oh. God. Is anything more devastating
No.
than being like in your most insecure, like 8th grade, where like you're the most fragile thing on planet Earth?
Oh.
A single look can ruin your week from the right person or the wrong person.
Oh my God.
Is there anything more devastating than just like are you coming to the birthday?
Oh.
And then you go with the what birthday?
Literally you saying that is bringing back like trauma responses
down the spine.
for me. Yeah, it's terrible.
And then how many, we've all had birthdays where we forget to invite someone or you're just not thinking, you know what I mean? You're just kind of, it's a little more rushed or last minute. And you're just kind of inviting everyone you're like recently seen and you're forgetting the one person you saw a month ago. And then you maybe sent that person down a spiral and you don't even know what happened. And then you see them like a month later and you remember you forgot to invite them.
Oh God.
And
it's also terrible.
And they know.
Why are you bringing up these horrible memories? These
it's
terrible
such a
memories.
Wild experience.
And you know what? That's why we have the family because here we all
we're all invited.
We're all here, baby.
Hey, for either me or Jess's birthday, if we could invite every single one of you, we absolutely would and have an absolute bash at it.
Absolute smash.
An absolute bash party, right? Of mustache weasels, or what does he say? Worms, you little mustache worm. I love that his diss is mustache and worm, not rat, right? But just a worm, like that's the diss. Is you got a mustache? He's like, I'm aware I have a mustache. Like, you mustache little worm.
Oh, there's merch going on.
Oh,
about
is there?
That. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, family. Okay, so obviously, title of this episode, but of course, we are going to be covering the reunion part 2. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you're listening to this Wednesday morning when this comes out, you know that tonight on Bravo, reunion part 3 is airing, the final reunion with apparently this bombshell and all of this. So obviously we were recapping episode 2 today. Friday,
yes, it's
going to be a Vanderpump week, baby, because Friday we're coming back, we're podcasting, and we'll be dropping an episode on the recap of the final reunion. I am
so stoked,
so excited. I can't wait to talk about it.
Double Vanderpump
week again, because
you mustache worm.
And also, by the way, I know now we're like 20 minutes into the episode, but just FYI, sometimes when you want to get into the meat of the episode and go past our conversations and just dive right into the recap, we always have a timestamp in the episode notes letting you know when we get into whether it be a recap of Vanderpump or The Bachelorette, which is coming up soon, all this. So if you want to always jump to that, you can always look in the episode notes.
Yeah,
I always put a timestamp.
If you're on audio, it's in the episode notes. It's easy to just drag. Or if you're on YouTube, they have those little
the chapters.
The little chapters, right? I'm sure you guys all know about this, but you can just click on it. It's right there.
Have you heard of this?
Have you heard of the YouTubes and the emails? You can send a letter through the air.
Anywho, we're going to get into that in a few minutes, but I did want to tell you about a story involving your child that happened early this morning.
Okay.
I laughed so hard. Now, I'm not a big fan of joking around about, I'm not a big like bathroom joke conversationalist.
All of
that.
Got it.
This made me laugh so hard, and I have to share it. Ember wakes up this morning and immediately, first thing she says to me is she's like, last night had a full poop Narnia.
Wait, Narnia?
A poop Narnia.
What does that mean? Like a poop wonderland? Like it was like was there like a half goat man and a witch
I go
and 3 little kids on a journey?
I was like, maybe she had like a wild dream and somehow like she pooped in her dream or something. And I'm like, Ember, what are you talking about? She's like, I had to get up and poop so much last night. And so she called it, instead of like a poop extravaganza, she called it a poop Narnia.
Has she seen that movie once, like 4 years ago? What? Dude, I gotta be honest with you, that is my child. That is some me stuff right there. A poop Narnia. Because I was like, is that a lot of poop? Is that just poop? Is that pooping multiple times? Like nothing about it is Narnia. So I want to know what she's thinking. What about Narnia is screaming poop?
I don't know.
Ooh, she goes, oof.
Oof. Poop Narnia last night.
Oh my gosh.
So
you know what she said to me yesterday when I got home when I got home from work and she had gotten home from school? She goes, I go, dude, I don't understand it, you guys. Like, we have one child. She's 7 years old. Anyone who has kids that are like 7 and older know what this is, but like, she's just starting to become basically 25.
Yeah.
And so like
the conversation is popping.
The conversation is just so adult. Like literally, I get home from work. She's sitting on the couch and I go, how's your day? She goes, whatever. Like whatever. Like that is at least 17 to walk in and she's just like, and she just goes, whatever. Like, I don't even want to deal with it. A nightmare. And, it was just like, that friend, took my sandwich or something, but it was just like, but he hit with the response of, Dad, it was so difficult. Even whatever, dude, whatever to your day. Like the cutest thing about that is the fact that whatever she actually went through was the epitome of
it was her whatever.
It was her whatever.
It was like, this is a nightmare.
Gosh.
I don't even want to go there.
Yeah.
I don't even want to address what happened because I'm just so over it.
And it's generally like even an unintentional super cocky thing. It's usually like, honestly, horrible day. And I go, what? She goes, everyone wanted to be my friend. And it was tough because I was like trying to hang out with some people and everyone was like, Amber. And I was like, you guys, I can't concentrate when you're chanting my name. So it was kind of a tough day. And you're like, I just moved into my mansion and it's just like too many rooms. You know what I mean?
She's beloved. What can we say?
It's so funny.
But no, you know what she said to me a couple days ago when I picked her up from school is she looks at me and I was like, I always do the full, do the rundown. What happened today? This, break down everything. And she starts talking about a friend that was frustrating her and said some things that really hurt her feelings that she felt like were very untrue. And she goes, you know what, Mom? What I'm getting is that she's just projecting onto me.
She used it correctly.
She used it 100% correctly.
Oh my gosh. Even me having to use the word projecting, I had to think about like,
you're like, pause for a second. You're like, is this the correct?
This is projecting.
Yeah.
Okay, I think so.
No, she used it completely correctly with the situation and said, she's just projecting on me and, I get it. And then we get in the car and she just wants to talk about projecting. Mom, do you feel like you project sometimes? Like, do you feel like you've projected on me at all? Like, here are the times when I feel like I'm project. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
Dude, what, you guys?
It's incredible. I live for these conversations. It brings me to life. It brings me to life. But I wanted to bring up the poop Narnia because poop Narnia because I feel like this is the perfect phrase when you are, having a discussion with a partner, a friend, whoever. What just went down instead of being like, hey guys, like the bathroom situation, like it was rough. It was a rough, 30 minutes. I just
yeah.
It can get,
I ate something weird. I'm having a poop Narnia.
You can just say, you don't even have to say I'm eating something weird or it was a rough bathroom trip. You can just be like, poop Narnia.
Poop Narnia.
And then exactly, you go poop Narnia. In fact, I know a lot of people who are single and starting to, see new people. And then you have to have this situation where you're pooping in their place for the first time and you're feeling a little bit like panicky and insecure. And all of a sudden, you eat something and it ends up being a whole drama. I say, speaking about stepping into confidence, when you leave that bathroom and the person kind of gives you a look like, that was a long ride.
Did you have a lot of emails, I hope?
Just look at them and go, Narnia.
And they're going to go, what? Like the movie? And you're like,
and just leave it
no.
at that. Just go Narnia.
Narnia.
That's it. That's it and that's
Wow.
all.
I feel like that's a new catchphrase for the show.
Yeah,
I mean,
Narnia.
Narnia.
You know exactly. I'm going to use that with
Like
you
this
now.
Vanderpump recap.
An absolute
This
Narnia
is a
show.
Narnia of an episode. And,
It was a shit show. It was
It's
a
a
Narnia of
Narnia.
a show. Narnia.
And again, yes, it doesn't make any sense and there's no
Doesn't make any
real
sense.
meaning, but it just says something and I appreciate it.
But I like it.
Poop Narnia. Of all the things, not a poop, volcano, a poop mess, a poop just Narnia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love it.
I
In
know,
her
I love
brain,
it
that
too.
made sense, and now I'm feeling it makes more sense the more I say it.
The more I say it, it makes more sense to me. And I just feel like I need to get like an artistic rendering of it because I feel like it would actually be quite
Oh.
colorful and beautiful.
What would the rendering be?
I mean, I don't know, magic? How can you describe magic in words?
So not poop Narnia. You don't want a drawing of poop Narnia?
I would like a drawing of poop Narnia, but I
Okay.
still feel like it would be beautiful. It wouldn't
Yeah, no,
look.
no, no, no,
it
no,
wouldn't
no, no.
look gross.
It wouldn't
It would be magical.
It wouldn't be slathered.
Too far.
Yeah, so you don't like the bathroom talk. Sorry
No.
about that. But you like poop Narnia because it was kind of fun and
It was
playful.
cute. It's very
Okay.
like fanciful. It's I picture fairies and dragons, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm down with that.
like unicorn poop.
Exactly.
Unicorn poop is just looks like colorful ice cream.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah. Anywho, should we get into this?
Oh my gosh, we have to.
Okay, before we officially dive into the our thoughts and takes on reunion episode or part 2, I do want to cover some of Sandoval's Instagram behaviors lately. Been going down an Instaval. Going down.
A Sandoval Narnia. No, but that's reserved for.
Don't you
no,
dare!
Sorry,
no,
sorry,
that is
sorry,
sacred.
sorry. I tried.
How dare you?
I'm new to the phrase, so I'm working on how to apply it.
I'll go with Instaval.
Okay, Instaval's. Oh, Instaval's great.
Instaval. It's Sandoval's Instagram.
Right,
I've been
right.
going down an Instaval spiral
that.
hole lately, and I've been discovering some of his current Instagram happenings, and I feel like they're important to address before we dive into the reunion recap. But beforehand, let's take one quick pause. Family, I always appreciate discovering things that make life a little easier, which is why I was so happy when I discovered stamps.com years ago, okay? I have never gone back. If you mail or ship often, let stamps.com do the hard part for you. Simply print postage and shipping labels right from your home or office. It's ready to go in minutes, no long lines or complicated setup required.
We love stamps.com. Like Jess said, we've been using it for years for personal and business use. With stamps.com, all you need is a computer and a printer. They even send you a free scale, so you'll have everything you need to get started. If you need a package pickup, you can easily schedule it through your stamps.com dashboard. And if you sell products online, stamps.com seamlessly connects with every major marketplace and shopping cart.
Postage rates just increased again, but luckily stamps.com has the best discounts in the industry. They have amazing partnerships with USPS and UPS for unbeatable rates, up to 84% off. Plus, stamps.com automatically tells you your cheapest and fastest shipping options.
Avoid the hassle and get started with stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code MOMDAD for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code MOMDAD.
So summertime is pretty much here, and that means it's time to get hot, okay? And honestly, nothing is hotter than Dipsea. Dipsea is an app full of hundreds of short, sexy audio stories for your listening pleasure, if you know what I mean, okay? And these stories are sexy, truly. I remember when I first heard of Dipsea, I was like, is this gonna be my thing? Is this maybe gonna be a little bit cheesy? Let me tell you, this is not cheesy at all, and it definitely is my thing.
Yes.
Okay, it's definitely my thing.
Dipsea brings scenarios to life with immersive soundscapes and realistic characters. You can discover stories with second chance romances, adventurous vacation flings, and hot and heavy hookups. And new content is released every week. So in between listening to your favorite stories again and and again, you can always find something new to explore.
There really is always something new. Trust me, you'll never get bored. Dipsy is also radically inclusive, and you can find stories voiced by some of your favorite celebs. They also have soothing sleep stories, wellness sessions, and sexy stories you can read if you prefer that. Let Dipsy be your go-to place to spice up your me time, explore your fantasies, relax and unwind, or heat things up with a partner. For listeners of the show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/momdad. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/momdad, dipsystories.com/momdad. All right, so I would like to dive into Tom Sandoval's current Instagram behaviors, okay? First and foremost, a few days ago, Tom Sandoval went on a tirade on his Insta stories, and it was quite bewildering because, listen, obviously, the world has been talking about Sandoval. Mm-hmm. So you know that this man is getting tagged 24/7 in memes, in posts, in podcasts, in articles, all of this, just tearing him to shreds, right? I mean, what he did, he's getting the heat, okay?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So my perception on this would be like, okay, either he's going to be completely silent about it and never really post on his Insta stories, or he's battling everything.
Yes.
Kind of like how he's been doing on the reunion, deciding to go after people when he did what he did.
Yeah.
But in general, from what I'm aware of, he has been pretty quiet when it comes to his Insta stories about addressing any sort of article coming after him, podcast, interview, whatever. Well, something went too far for Tom Sandoval.
Okay.
But of course, what pushed Tom over the edge to finally lose it
my God,
was an article that was specifically addressing his nail polish. Now, the article specifically said that Tom Sandoval has ruined white nail polish for everyone.
Yeah, there's a national shortage, or a national like drop off in sales.
Yeah, it's like all the white nail polish companies are like, fuck.
We can't move this stuff.
Because it's true. Now, every time I see white nails, and I love white nail polish, okay, I like it on everybody. I've always enjoyed white nail polish. Now when I see it, I'm like, oh, well, when I go in to get my mani, I'm not asking for like the full white nails because all I can think about is Tom Sandoval. And I don't want people to see me in the streets and be like, are you
a Sandoval stand?
Are you a Sando head? Like, I'm just like, no.
You're eating a sandwich. They're like, oh, really?
That's what I'm afraid of. And the world does not want to show their support of Tom Sandoval. So we're not wearing white nail polish anymore. Okay. So it's kind of been a trend online. So a journalist named Stephanie McNeil wrote this article for Glamour magazine, right? And in the article, the article was titled Tom Sandoval has ruined white nail polish for everyone. And granted, in the article, of course, Stephanie McNeil said what all of us are thinking and is coming for Tom Sandoval. But of course, so I understand in the context of the article, yes, she's talking about his behavior. So of course, that could be what got him upset. Mm-hmm. But I believe the reason that he truly went off is because there was fashion criticism. Yes. And we all know how vain this man is. And his first comment, he starts posting on Instagram, on his Insta stories, posting the article, tagging Glamour magazine, and saying, so sorry, nothing I wear seems to ever look good on trolls. Shrug. So now he's all sorts of hurt because he feels like we're coming for his fashion.
So is he saying that when you say what I wear doesn't look good on trolls, is he saying I can only pull off what I'm wearing and you couldn't? Is that what he's trying to say?
I think that's what he's trying to say, which is funny in general because that's clearly not what the article is talking about.
And second of all, have you ever seen the movie Trolls? Like, they all have their own fashion. They all look really good. So I don't know. And to be honest with you, he kind of dresses like those trolls in the movie a little bit. Like, it's like wild glitter, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think he's that I mean, I think he's wrong just factually.
Factually
wrong.
Just off the top, he's wrong.
Off the top. Second of all, it's a very weird thing to be triggered by despite everything. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Right. That's what you're saying. But what's weird to me is to have been disassociated from being a good person for so long that like the fashion is the trigger. Because he's kind of like, you might not like me as a person, but I'm a god on the runway, you know? And you're kind of like, the whole thing about Sandoval at this point, outside of the scandal, is that he has created a reality for which he only lives.
Correct.
Because first of all, his fashion is one. No one ever goes, yeah, he's an asshole, but man, he does dress well. No one ever says that.
I don't think so.
And then,
even though I don't mind the style.
Oh, I appreciate that. I think it's horrific. But even aside from my opinion, no one's ever saying like, oh my God, he is amazingly dressed though. It's always kind of like, I don't know, you know? Yeah. And then I was also watching, I saw a story of his recently, and he was talking into the camera, like kind of like on a day off, basically in between shows on his tour. And he was just going on about how like, guys, the shows have been unreal. You know what I mean? Thank you for turning out. There's the band over there enjoying the beach, whatever. And he's talking about, he goes, guys, like, hey guys, it's been 4 shows in a row. Unreal. Crowds have been insane. You've been incredible. But the narrative that he's not realizing is that the only reason people are showing up to the shows is to watch someone who they despise and just kind of be there and go like, whoa, I saw this horrible person that we know play music, play covers. Like no one's going because they're genuine, just like huge
Sandoval
fans
stands.
of the extras. You know what I mean? The most extras. It's like, oh my God, have you seen them lately? Or oh my gosh, I stream their music constantly. Nobody is doing that.
No, they're just trying to see if there's a moment where all of a sudden
Is he gonna
Tom
say
Sandoval
something?
addresses something on stage and they can like post it on Instagram and be like, look at what he just said.
Right. And it's like, it's also something where it's like someone needs to sit down with him and realize, hey, you're pouring so much money into doing these shows.
Oh my God.
Right. He's paying entire bands and production and everything.
It's so expensive.
And then he's not realizing that he's not building anything. He's just providing a momentary experience for people. And once this drama dwindles over the next 6 months, no one's going to go to the shows anymore. It's just like happenstance. You know what I mean? It's like going, it's like when you're on the freeway and you see like a fire on the side of the road and everyone slows down to go, what is that?
Yeah.
They're not just big fans of fire.
Right.
They're not like, I'm just a general fan of fire and I always just look out for little roadside fires. You're just kind of like, whoa, what is that? You slow down to look at it. His show is a roadside fire.
I know.
That you're just kind of going, whoa. And so he's just in his world thinking, my gosh, finally my music career has taken off. He has no idea that this reality is not real.
I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, you better prepare yourself because you're coming for his music. So the nail polish and the music, you're about to get absolutely Sandoval.
Well, yeah, my thing too.
And
listen, I think, and this is the thing too, is it's like, I'm not coming, like this is genuine honesty. None of this is coming at him because of the horrible things he's done.
Yeah.
This is just like if I was a manager and I was just being honest with like my client.
Yeah, you'd be like, stop spending all this money on this.
Dude, if you want to do this and we want to sell some merch and try to make some money off of this quick little flame, which is like your drama, but don't for 1 second think that like you've built yourself an actual audience of fans of your music here. Because on the other side of this too, the videos of the performances, the band's great.
Yeah.
There's one weak link here.
I know.
And it's him. Like every video I see, the singing is like brutal and it's like so weird and he's taking his shirt off and like licking and like putting his chest on people. Like it's so insane. And I'm going like, yeah, okay. I mean, I appreciate the like blind self-belief that he has because it makes it more entertaining. I would hate if he went on being like, guys, I know this is all trash, but hey, taking advantage of the market. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, he's just like, no, we've built. I'm basically you too. Which is just his general vibe overall, which is just a blind, I am a god.
But that's the thing. So the fact that like his trigger where he decides to finally, talk about
You've gone too far.
You've gone too far, everyone, is that people are insulting his white nail polish, which again, they're not insulting. Tom, they're not insulting your white nail polish. They're saying now none of us can wear white nail polish anymore without thinking about you because the things that you did, it's not the white nail polish, it's you, the things that you have done. That's why people can't wear the white nail polish. And then he's just going on this tirade coming for Stephanie McNeil, this journalist. Then he's screenshotting her personal Instagram profile, tagging her, tagging Glamour magazine, just like coming for her. Also then looking up the definition of a journalist and tagging her. He's like, maybe you should figure out what this means and all of this. I was dying because on the flip side, Stephanie McNeil was on her Instagram stories posting like, I finally did it. I was the one that broke the camel, the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Where Sandoval, this will be what he decides to explode over.
Yeah.
So shout out to Stephanie McNeil. So that's one piece of his current Instagram presence. The other piece that I would like to mention is this. And this is just, again, off of what you're saying, which is just blowing my mind. So on his Instagram, like I said, in general, he hasn't been addressing anything.
Yeah.
He's just posting about his shows.
Yes.
Okay. It's his tour. It's his shows. And a few days ago, he posted a carousel of photos, a hard post, and the first picture is of him performing, and the caption is "Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to the shows," and then he lists the shows that are coming up. Well, I start flicking through the carousel, and the second photo is a screenshot from what I believe is a TMZ article that says this. Think about this. This man is using this as a hard post on his Instagram to promote his shows. The Sandoval drama isn't a total loss for Tom Sandoval. While his affair with Raquel is definitely costing him friendships, it's not hurting his finances where his band is concerned. We're told concerts for Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras have been a big hit amid all the drama. For example, and then it talks about their show, that it ended up having a big turnout. And throughout the rest of this carousel, he posts a photo of himself and then continues to post all of his shows that have been doing well.
Yes.
But this man legitimately posts a clip of an article saying, regardless of Sandoval, it looks like his finances haven't been hurting. And he posts that as a hard post. And
Hard
to
post
me,
is strong.
I look at this and I go, this is all I need to see. This is all I need to see. Not that I didn't fully believe or agree with all the things that Ariana had been saying in the first place, duh. But when she has made some statements in certain interviews saying, I'm sorry, he loves whatever attention he can get.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding right there. It's like you're going to make a hard post about how regardless of all of the atrocities, your shows are selling out or your shows are doing really well. And my jaw was on the floor.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's like it's like the most important thing in the world to him is not being a good person, not treating people with respect, not being a good partner, friend, individual. It's making sure that his covers are praised. Mm-hmm. Like, that's it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, hey, you know what, dude? Write a song. Write a song. Why are you doing covers, first of all? That pisses me off already. If I showed up to a show to see an artist and all they did was covers, be pissed. Okay? Be pissed off. So write a song. Second of all, it's dark.
It's very dark.
It's dark. I don't think he realizes how dark that is, where it's like, you know, you're now just being like, I'm capitalizing on my bad personness, so we should praise that. And
right.
It's just like, you're not seeing how messed up that is?
I'm a bad person, but do you see me on the stage? And you can't deny that.
Yeah, I can deny it, and I do. And, you know, I don't know. It's disturbing when you start then promoting it. I think that's the thing. It's one thing to kind of like think of it in the back of your head and go like, I mean, listen, it all went to shit, but at least these shows are doing well. You know, at least to kind of have that thought.
Yeah, that's the dark
that's
personal
an inside thought. That's not something you promote as like, guys. But at least, a round of drinks for everyone. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, dark.
But that then goes in line with, so once the reunion part 2 episode began, there was a moment, and I looked at Evan and I was like, all I can think about is this. There was a moment where a few minutes into the episode, Tom or they cut for a break, a lunch break. And Tom immediately changes out of his suit and puts on his all black. And then he's got his pea coat and his big black sunglasses, looking
cool,
mysterious and distraught, and ends up going into Raquel's trailer and is talking, and then walks out and he's smoking a cigarette and walking around. And I looked at Evan and I said, I can guarantee you this man watching this back, while all the rest of us are horrified with the behavior, this man is looking at himself going, God damn, I look really cool.
Yes. Yes, 100%.
He's looking at himself going, I mean, did you see my fit though?
But did you see the pea coat? I mean, the pea coat was dripping.
Did you see how cool? Like, he's thinking, wow, I look so cool smoking that cig, pacing around, swearing at production.
Rockstar book, page number 7 is sunglasses indoors, cig in the mouth. I'm going to use that for this reunion. It's going to be amazing. Because we also hear from, everyone that he's so calculated about everything he does. He's always having let's talk about this. Let's game plan this. Let's game plan. And we should, and then Ariana was even saying oh, we should do, he always was like, oh yeah, do an outfit change halfway through, blah, 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 blah. It's like, he's always been almost just like a PR person for himself, very focused on engineering the perfect, how you look and how you respond to criticism and all this stuff.
And image. Which then was so crazy to me. And I apologize, everyone. We're going to be bouncing all over this reunion because there's specifically certain parts that I want to make sure to hit that I really want to get into. So we're going to be all over the place. Also, just as a heads up, we did watch the Peacock pumped up extended version. So if we discuss certain moments that you were like, didn't see that in the reunion, it's because it's on the Peacock extended version.
Okay.
But he's so focused on image, and that then was so insidious to me when the conversation happened later in the reunion where he was talking about how he believes that, he started off by saying Ariana and I did not really show our authentic selves on screen. And this is the stance he's deciding to take, is that we didn't show ourselves. So people didn't know really what was going on. They really didn't know what was happening behind the scenes. And the fact that that was the stance that he took was blowing my mind so much for a few parts. Number one, Andy then turns to Ariana and is like, Ariana, I'm pretty sure you're pretty open. You've talked about the loss in your life. You've talked about your mental health. You've talked about your body image. You've talked about intimacy in your relationship. That feels pretty open. And Ariana's like, correct. I have been extremely open about all those things. The second part of it, though, is that from my perspective, when you're on a reality TV show, yes, sure, you're signing up to expose a lot of yourself. But if you are in a long-term, real relationship like the two of them were, of course, you're going to have to keep certain things protected and safe for your relationship.
Yes.
Right? I was thinking about us, for instance, with the podcast. Obviously, it's very different than a reality TV show, but I'm like, we're super open. We talk about all sorts of stuff that's going on in our personal life and that's happened in our relationship and all that. But there's certain things that you need to keep safe and protected for a relationship. So if anything, if Ariana was the one saying hey, let's make sure certain things are safe, she's keeping their relationship safe. By doing that, not being dishonest, by keeping it safe, right? There's plenty, clearly, like Andy brought up, that Ariana is very open about. But there are certain things. And the final part that was blowing my mind with Sandoval is that he's deciding to go after Ariana, being like, Ariana's the one that wasn't allowing the reality of our relationship to show. And I'm like, this is coming from the guy talking about being honest and authentic. The guy who was having a secret affair for 7 months and desperately hiding it from the audience and his partner and his friends. I'm like, this is rich, dude.
Yeah, it's because he is deep down going, Ariana, if you would have been more okay with us exposing stuff, and let's be real, I'm sure he wasn't begging to expose all his issues in the relationship and all this stuff. He was probably wanting to keep the perfect look anyway because he knows that's his game anyways, to look perfect all the time.
Right, and that's what Ariana brought up. She's like, you're the one who's always let's 100%. Calculate before the reunion and let's make sure everyone knows timelines and we're all set up.
He's trying to increase his likability and victimhood by saying, if we were able to expose all our issues, people wouldn't feel as bad for Ariana and hate me as much because they would see that I was being, I was also like being hurt here and that I needed something I wasn't getting. Right. And so like he's looking at again from like a social perspective, not from like a her or him thing. It's just like well, in hindsight, I wish we would have exposed all of our problems because then people wouldn't have felt so bad for this whole situation.
There's no heart in it at all.
No.
It's all image and industry and selfishness.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like it's a little bit like, the musician in the 50s they talk about where like they sold their soul at the crossroads for the success.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of feels like that a little bit with him. Like he just kind of at one point truly forsook the humanity of it all and just said, I'm going to be a vehicle for success or for popularity and whatever I got to do it. Open restaurants, start bands, be this character. Like he's almost just like removed the human side of like being in the show with people and not realizing that you can just destroy people's lives still. And then by this time, it also feels like he's been practicing it for so long, the like removing the humanity to where now it seems like it's pretty thin. Like the fact that he's focusing on the white nail polish instead of the fact that he's destroyed lives, instead of the fact that he's, trying to get more sympathy, the fact that he's trying to game plan with everyone, the fact that he's, just even more just concerned with his band than with the restaurant. Like even just like forget everything, forget the whole drama and just think, imagine starting a business with someone like for Schwartz. I'm saying, forget about all his everything. Just factually.
Just that. Yeah.
Imagine starting a restaurant with someone, your best friend. You pour all your life savings into it. And then they just go, by the way, I'm not going to be around and I'm just going to go start my band. Devastating, right? We never talked about this. Sandoval using his own mother's retirement fund to start the restaurant with no guarantee that she'll get it back.
Yeah, and
so
even
he's able to willingly risk bankrupting his own mother for his restaurant. Like, dude, I'm just saying, like, the humanity's pretty thin at this point. It's kind of wild.
Which is so tragic.
Yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of getting eerie watching him work at this point.
And I think, I would imagine that it's going to start to look even thinner in episode 3 of the reunion once Raquel is sitting there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this bomb is that's going to drop, but I have a feeling that it might get even worse and worse.
Yeah. It's just, you know what it is? I think it's just the highest levels of selfishness and self-absorption. Because everything's just like how I look, how I want to do whatever I want to do. That's just it. Sorry, I wish you the best, but I want to do me all the time, no questions asked.
Which is why I do believe, and I stand by this, I stand by it full heart and soul. I don't care. Even if Raquel and Tom stay together, I believe that he now has a disdain for her. I believe it wholeheartedly. And I think
you stained my image.
Yes. And I think if they do stay together, that he's purely doing it because of the public and the public response and trying to maybe make this thing work for a while to see if they can win back public approval or whatever they think they might be able to do. Because every time we have seen Sandoval in Raquel's presence since they got exposed, it's dripping off him, to me, his disdain.
Yeah, like when he went into the trailer, he wasn't like, oh, we're a place of comfort for each other.
Right.
He was like, hi, yeah, it's bad. This, that, and the other. Okay, bye. And the only compliment he gave her was, you look good.
Yeah, he came in, you look good.
It's like image.
And as soon as Raquel is sitting there and, calls it from a mile away, the one thing she brings up is that she's watched this entire thing go down, the devastation of what she's just seen and what their actions have resulted in. And the one thing that she's caught on is the fact that she has a problem with hearing that Tom and Ariana might have been intimate sexually and that the relationship was doing well somewhat recently. And that's the problem that she has.
Yeah, she's like, you kind of cheated on me with your wife or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like with your partner of 10 years, you kind of cheated on me.
Yes.
I'm a little tweaked at that. And you're like, I'm confused.
And the fact that that's the one thing that she was focusing on was, well, I kind of have a problem with this. And so I don't know if you're being honest with me. And it's like, girl,
Honest?
this guy?
Honest is
You
the
guys,
issue?
we're going to talk about, you think maybe he's being dishonest with you? Okay.
The quote, though, of the episode to me,
Yeah.
the absolute number one quote was Raquel going, yeah, they're trying to make us out to be like pathological liars. And it's like, we know we're not like that. We know we didn't lie, except for like the whole affair. That's the best quote ever. That's the best quote ever. That's like saying, I'm not a criminal other than the crimes I've committed.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like,
You're like, well,
I don't steal other than the times that I steal. And it's like, I think we're missing the point here. Like, it's just like, again, it's that blind lack of understanding your pain that you're causing. And you're just annoyed that people are hurt by the pain you cause. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I don't understand is it just, yeah, I mean, how do you get that way?
I don't know. It's just deep selfishness.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like it's getting to the point where it's fascinating to me. It's not just I feel so bad for Ariana and it's so horrible. It's now also like I'm trying to like understand them because I'm going like, this is so weird at this point where they're not even attaching themselves to the thing anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they've disassociated that they're even a part of this thing.
Yeah. I think it's when you're in so deep in your own lies and deceit that you just almost start believing certain things. It's dark.
Yeah, because not to jump too far, but like when she was sitting down with Andy.
Yes, when Andy and Raquel had the
when Andy
one-on-one.
and Raquel had a one-on-one, and then she starts kind of blaming Ariana for not questioning it and looking into it and discovering the affair quicker. She was kind of like, yeah, like she kind of never really seemed like she wanted to find out. She never even asked me, and she never even asked Sandoval, and she never even like came after us at all. And then Andy's like,
she just like trusted us.
She's like, trusted
You're
us.
Like, you mean,
she's like, and Andy goes,
you mean the fact that your sweet friend believed two people who she cared about deeply and was trying to give you all the benefit of the doubt?
Yeah. And then Andy goes, it kind of sounds like you're blaming her for not knowing you were cheating with her guy. And she goes, well, yeah, I kind of was there for a while. I kind of did feel that way. And I'm like, dude, that's insanity. And no emotion on our face too the whole time.
Emotion.
No emotion.
Except for smiles every once in a while.
Smiles,
a smile and a laugh.
which is the worst kind of emotion you could have.
And again, just pairing that then with having seen certain breakdowns, I mean, many breakdowns throughout the season talking about her pageants and all of this. So you're like, you know that there's the ability to tap in there, but you just, yeah. But what was so interesting though, to me, going back to then Sandoval and Raquel in the trailer, was that when she brought up the whole intimacy piece and was like, well, I have a problem with that. And then, of course, in Sandoval fashion, he victim blames and puts the blame on Ariana and is like, dude, that was around the time when, like, for a while she would like see my style and my fashion and be like, ugh, no. They show the clip and Ariana's just like, I don't know if I love that pair of pants. It's just like a slight, like, yeah, that's not my favorite. You're asking my opinion. Sure. He's like, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, she's telling me that like my fashion's amazing. So like, what's going on? And I'm like, first of all, what does that even mean? Okay. Like, what are you even trying?
You can change a shirt and I can like one shirt and not the other too, right? You understand that, Sandoval? That like, it's not everything you ever worn she's gonna like. Like, people can have opinions about different things. They sometimes.
Can like some.
I can have a hamburger and a hot dog and decide I like one more than the other. It's not like all food is good.
Right, exactly. But also then too, you're like, okay, what are you trying to say Sandoval to Raquel right now. So basically you're saying you're now talking about the intimacy in the sense that like, well, it was confusing because like she was hating on my clothes and then she started like telling me I was like a fashion god. So like,
then you started having sex with her because of that?
I mean,
which is the reality of what he's saying.
I that's the only thing that I can take away from that.
He's saying this. He's saying when we were together, when me and Raquel met up, she was saying she hates my shirts.
Me and Ariana.
No. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
When me and Raquel got together,
yes.
she was hating on my fashion a lot. Then out of nowhere, she starts liking my fashion. And you know me, Raquel. If you like my fashion, I'm having sex with you.
Yeah, you're like, what is that supposed to mean?
So it's like he's basically saying that like his cheating and or staying together was reliant on compliments, which then reinforces again
everything Ariana was saying. No,
his radical self-obsession that like she can just compliment him one day on his fashion and they're being intimate and say, I don't really like those pair of pants, and then I'm gonna go cheat. Like
exactly. And again, completely just goes back to everything Ariana was saying, where it's just like he was never around. How am I supposed to emotionally get there with him when there's no one there to get there with because he's not there? I'm telling him things that matter to me. He's not doing those things. We're trying to work it out. We're going to therapy, all this stuff. He just cares about himself. Right?
Yes.
And so that's where it lands. So, and then also on top of that too, I just had this moment where then that was the example he used. And I'm like, side note, he's also throwing that example out there to fish for a compliment. Like, can you believe that she, for 1 second, questioned my fashion superiority?
And you know what's, that's so fascinating. And you know what's something else that just dropped into my mind, which shows you the level of like self-obsession in a public way, is that the amount of stories I've seen where people are like at his shows being like, this is a joke, right? He seems to brush that all off. But if there's ever a publication, like there can be a story posted by someone that has 100,000 views. And then there can be an article by a magazine that 1,000 people read. But that article is going to make or break his day because it's like by a publication and it's like more official than someone random. So like he lives and dies by like a TMZ picture, by a Glamour magazine article, by whatever, even if it's not the most exposed things ever. It's like, no, because that's an official publication and their comment on me is either going to make me crazy about the nails or I'm going to be stoked about it because they said something good. Like that's the thing. Right.
Well, and of course, he's seeing all of those articles too, because he has his Google alerts set to his name.
So
he's getting
he's got 7 laptops going at once.
So he's getting all of the articles immediately sent to him because Google Alerts is letting him know anytime his name is out there.
1,000%.
Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, we have to take a quick pause before we dive back in. Okay, quick pause. So family, Evan has been gone a lot for work lately. He's running off to work after this. And as you know, he is the chef in our household, okay? So when he's not around, well, I'm left to my own devices and I can struggle with that, as most of you know. But also, I want to be eating nourishing, healthy meals. Well, I have my solution, okay? It's Daily Harvest. It is the game changer for me because Daily Harvest delivers delicious smoothies, flatbreads, soups, harvest bowls, bites, and more built on sustainably sourced fruits and vegetables all right to my door. It could not be easier or more delicious than with Daily Harvest.
The best.
So good.
And I take my Daily Harvest to work, and because they make it so convenient, with easy to prep options for any time of day, Daily Harvest keeps our freezer stocked with good food that's always ready when we are. And the best part, no shopping, chopping, or heavy lifting ever.
And by working directly with farmers, Daily Harvest sources the best ingredients, freezes them at peak ripeness to lock in the flavor and nutrients, and they never use artificial preservatives or ingredients. And by delivering food in recyclable and compostable packaging where possible, Daily Harvest does the work, so all I have to do is eat and enjoy. My go-tos are the smoothies for breakfast, okay? I love the harvest bowls for lunch and for dinner time, and for dessert, the bites and the scoops. Do not even get me started on the hazelnut and chocolate bites.
Oh my gosh.
Holy deliciousness.
So good.
So good.
Eating delicious, nourishing, and easy to prep meals has never been easier thanks to Daily Harvest. Go to dailyharvest.com/momdad to get up to $65 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/momdad for up to $65 off your first box. dailyharvest.com/momdad.
So, does this sound familiar? try it free for 30 days. Just enough time to try it and then completely forget about it. Okay, hi, that's
100%.
me. That is me. I always forget and end up paying for months, even years. In fact, over 80% of people have subscriptions they forget about. You could be wasting money and not even realizing it. Rocket Money helps you find those forgotten subscriptions so you can stop paying for ones you don't use. I love Rocket Money.
So good. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. We love Rocket Money. It's saved us hundreds of dollars every year. Rocket Money will quickly and easily find your subscriptions for you. And for any you don't want to pay for anymore, just hit cancel and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. It's really that easy. Rocket Money also helps you manage your finances all in one place and automatically categorizes your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time and also get alerted if anything looks off.
Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year. I know personally, Rocket Money saved me about $1,000 last year. Bless them for canceling all those apps and free trials I signed up for that I had forgotten about. I mean, I used the app that turned me into a mythical creature once or twice, but I didn't have to be paying,
Great
for
app,
months.
just maybe not like a long-term
not for like
thing.
a year. I didn't have to be paying for that. So thank you, Rocket Money. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/momdad. That's rocketmoney.com/momdad. rocketmoney.com/momdad. Okay, but getting back to the Sandoval Raquel situation, what I feel is disdain now in his body. Being in that room with her. Again, I think that it is just because he is the type of person who, if it's not fun, if he's not loving it, if it's not 100 perfect for him, he gets bothered and he is out. And I felt like that was definitely emphasized in the conversation that the group was having outside during lunch, where Lala and Ariana were talking about it. Lala even brought up, she's like, he's going to be over Raquel. And Ariana was like, oh, are you kidding me? The second that she starts to come to him with real relationship issues, he's going to be over it. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. It's because up until, the past 7-8 months with the two of them, they're sneaking around, partying, having sex, doing all of this like under the cover of darkness, all this stuff. And he's thrilled and getting off and all this shit. But now all of a sudden, the world is against you. You're having to have repercussions for your actions. And now you have Raquel coming to you saying, hold on a second. I don't like the way you talked about the whole intimacy end. And you just watch his face. And even when they had their little alone time in her apartment in the finale episode, I said that too. I feel like he almost hates her at this point because he walked in and was just making comments about like, can we turn the lights down? And she's making statements like, well, I don't know if I should believe you. You're the only person that I have left. But now I'm feeling like, will you do this to me? And you just see his face like he's done.
Well, it's not exciting anymore.
Exactly.
And
like Ariana said, as soon as you're bringing real relationship problems,
she starts asking, hey, how come we're not doing this? Like, hey, can we
real
spend more time together, whatever.
Yep.
But it's interesting because he definitely is an addict for like a spike in adrenaline, right? Because he's doing the live shows. He's always kind of like, he likes that, when he was cheating, it was always because it was like, he even said he's like early on when he cheated with Miami girl, he was like, I wanted to feel like what it was like to be single again. So he's definitely kind of always chasing a high that way. And I think that now that it's just negative and he's not sneaking around, which is exciting. He can actually just be with Raquel all the time. That you need like an undying love to get through this. You need like a real connection where you guys get each other more than anyone. And there's just beautiful connection, and it was founded in horrible situations, but the bond is unbreakable, right? Which we are not catching that vibe. So she's absolutely right, knowing him and being with him for this long, that like now is when it's going to start. He's going to start going, this is not fun anymore. You know what's going to be fun? Hooking up with someone else under the cover of dark and having fun again.
You know what's going to be fun for me? I bet Sandoval's feeling is, I can guarantee he's hooking up with people after his shows.
100%.
You know, he's on the road. You know that like Andy mentioned with Raquel in their one-on-one sit down, he's like, so, you know, we heard that you guys are like maybe taking a pause, some kind of time apart. Is that because of did your parents say that? Did you think? I can guarantee fucking Sandoval said that and probably used the guise of like, it's going to look better to the outside if it looks like we're taking it seriously and like regretting our actions. You don't think that this guy is now just like, no, this isn't fun for me anymore. And now I have my tour going and now I get to be single on the road, man. There was posts of him at random karaoke bars, like by himself singing on stage. You know that he's trying to meet people and hook up with people.
And you know he's under a delusion that be like, honestly, there's going to be someone there that's going to see me sing and they're going to be like, I had no idea Jesus came back. And he's at this karaoke bar ripping it up, singing Carry On My Wayward Son. You know what I mean?
I also think he's the type of guy.
God, I'm a Christian now because Jesus is singing Carry On My Wayward Son. It's like, that's what he's thinking. He's thinking, I'm going to show up and it's going to be a line out the door.
And I can guarantee you, if he were to get interviewed, he would say, if someone were to sit him down and be like, who would be like the ultimate person for you in a relationship? I can guarantee Sandoval would say, you know, man, after all this, like probably someone who doesn't know who I am and isn't in reality TV or isn't on Instagram or online and like just meets me for who I am, like, you know, sees me at a bar, maybe singing and just sees me and we connect. I bet he would say that in an interview. I also believe 1000% that there's no way that guy would ever be interested in anyone if they didn't absolutely know who he was and weren't a fan of his.
1000%.
Like he wants somebody who is like obsessed, a fan.
Yeah, because Ariana gave him, like, she was not like just like she loved him and was attracted to him and everything, but she gave him more of a real take. Like she would be like, hey, you're off on this. And she was like a real person.
Yeah, they were in a relationship.
Right. And he's like, I don't like this man. But like, I think what he would say is if like, they're like, what are you looking for? He's like, honestly, man, someone who understands the rock and roll lifestyle. Because being a rock god is like it's a lifelong journey, man, and you can't even teach it. You just are born with it, man. And like, if you don't understand, dude, that I'm a rock god, you got to be. If you're in the presence of a god, you need to know that you need to be respectful of a god. And so like, that's just currently where I'm at. Like, that's the shit he'd want to say. He'd be talking to a girl and be like, if we're gonna be together, you got to understand the rock and roll lifestyle. Like he just would say that.
The road.
Like you got to understand. I spend a lot of time in the gym. I get my nails done. I rock. You know what I mean? Like you can't be calling me during band practice, okay? Because me and my rock family are just constantly in a state of, you know, shred, and you can't be bothering me. Like he says, you know, he says that kind of stuff. Like this is a joke, but like actually those conversations are being had.
1000%. There's no way they're not. There's no way that they're not. Okay. So let's touch on some of the things that Andy chatted about with Raquel during their one-on-one, because this was huge.
This was wild.
One of the things being when Ariana first found out. Okay.
Yeah.
So Raquel tells Andy that Tom and her were planning on telling Ariana. My guess is that for a long time, Raquel was like, we need to tell her because I want to date you. Because in fact, Andy even said, how did you think this was going to go?
Yeah.
Did you think Ariana was just going to be like,
was there any way out of this?
It's okay.
He said, yeah.
And Raquel literally says, I mean, yeah, I thought that like they'd break up and then like we'd start dating and it would be fine.
/ continue dating.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
In what galaxy could you even for one moment think that even if you all lied and said that you weren't having an affair, but you break up with Ariana and then Raquel right away starts dating?
Yeah, like even
what?
if you didn't do all the bad stuff, it still wouldn't work.
That she's going to just be super stoked for you?
She's going to be like, honestly, like, you're such a good friend, and I want you to be with my freshly exed person. Like, this doesn't work in any galaxy.
Work.
But again, it's the Sandoval Raquel they're not, you say in what galaxy? Their galaxy.
That's true.
Where they are the sun.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
And everything revolves around them. Yeah.
If you are the sun, you're not going, I wonder what Pluto's up to. Or if Pluto's, it's like, you just revolve around me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was weird. It was starting to get bizarre with Raquel because I was noticing that like Sandoval is in this place where he is, he's protecting himself. He's very concerned about his image. He's also like, you can tell he's stressed about the way he's coming across. He's stressed about, fighting back. And like, he's emotionally involved in it, at least. She seems to just be sitting there. Like even with Andy, she's sitting there and there's no tears. There's no, I can't believe this happened. I even when she talks about regret, when she talks about regretting doing the restraining order, she's not crying and going, I messed up and I took it out on my friend and I shouldn't have done that. She's just kind of going, yeah, it's something that I kind of look back on now and I kind of feel like maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's like she's talking about, I planted these plants in the flowers in my backyard and they just don't look as good as I thought they would be, so I'm going to try some new ones. Mm-hmm. It's just that matter of fact. There's no emotion behind it.
Yeah, there's no, I participated in burning this all to the ground.
Yeah, like even if you were like, honestly, fuck Ariana. You know what I mean? He's my man. What are you going to do about it? That at least shows that you're like invested somehow. But the blankness during this whole process, fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think too. So going back within her and Andy, so they then talk about the night. They say that they were planning on telling Ariana.
Yes.
Okay. That's what their claim is. God, what I said is I believe that Raquel was probably on Tom Sandoval being like, you need to tell her so that we can start a relationship, right?
Not because she needs to know when we care about her, but just so that we can figure this out.
We can start our own relationship. But then when Andy, is asking about Ariana then finding the video on Sandoval's phone and then right away calling Raquel, and what Raquel did you say to Ariana? And then Raquel gives us a little nugget, which was, well, Sandoval and I had been planning on telling Ariana, and we were going to be talking about like what exactly we were going to say, because Sandoval believed that if she knew how long it had been going on, that it would hurt her. So basically, she's saying we were concocting a story to give to Ariana, which I'm sure probably looked like we hooked up one time, and this was the one time. We're so sorry, blah, 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 blah. But she literally admits to Andy they were creating a false narrative to admit, quote unquote, to Ariana about. But when Ariana called Raquel, that in that moment, they hadn't fully figured out the timelines. So Raquel just told Ariana the truth.
Yes.
And there were even moments in the episode where, Tom in his defense, where he was even saying like, you're welcome, Sheena, that I didn't admit it to you, because then what position would that have put you in? You would have been having to feel stressed out with Ariana. And he's continuing to blame, like somehow be like, you should be thankful for me. And, that you found out this way, da-da-da. And it's like, are we all forgetting that Ariana stumbled upon this video? Yeah. You didn't tell Ariana. You weren't like, you know what? I'm not going to tell Sheena because I'm trying to protect Ariana, which already is ridiculous. But it's like, nobody told Ariana. Ariana found this out. She stumbled upon this.
Yes.
You did not sit her down and admit it to her. She caught you.
Worst case scenario. It's worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. Because if he would have sat her down and said, hey, I need to tell you something. I've been cheating on you for the last 9 months straight. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have done it. I'm super sorry, but I am leaving you and I'm going with Raquel. But devastating at the highest levels, right? Worst thing ever is to open up your partner's phone and see the affair, see everything go down, then confront them, then have them lie, then continue to have new details emerge daily through other sources, then they deny it, then they confirm it, then someone else
confirms it. While he continues to gaslight you the entire time, and then put blame on you.
It's like written how bad it is. Uh-huh. Like, I'm like, I couldn't think of a worse way. Like, if you said make it worse, Evan, I'd be like, there's no other way to make it worse.
Well, and that's why I think everyone, so throughout this whole reunion, part 1 and part 2, you know, what Sandoval keeps bringing up, and honestly, what Lisa and Andy keep bringing up is like, well, all of you guys have cheated, and all of you guys, it's like, okay, let's all take a step back and understand what is very clear is to what level this is.
Yes.
And as wrong as everything can be, there is a level that the Sandoval is on, where it is a lengthy affair. It is lie after lie. It is gaslighting. It is continue to blame. It's still not being, I mean, it's never ending.
Never ending.
And it's such a different level to me. And also then the length of their relationship. And then again, the whole best friend piece and all of this, which, side note, I wanted to say this. Something that has been just absolutely devastating for me, to be honest, throughout watching these past 2 reunions, because you know how much I love LVP. I love me some Lisa Vanderpump.
Yes.
But I am not into and not down with the way...
The kind of mediator vibe she's bringing to the table.
At first, it was like the first few minutes of episode 1 of the reunion, I was like, okay, I understand from a production side that Lisa is maybe coming in. Andy and Lisa are kind of like, okay, everybody quiet down. Let's hear what everyone's saying so that you can actually hear the drama and the details of it. So at first I was kind of like, okay, maybe that's what's happening. But it continued throughout the rest of episode 1 and into episode 2, where I'm like, why are we not holding Sandoval accountable? Like, why are we spending the energy coming for Lala or correcting something that Ariana said? It's like, okay, I understand you have these opinions, but you not coming for Sandoval and continuing to say, let's hear him out. It creates a weird vibe with then knowing that you guys are in business still, and you're, you know, kind of like, let's hear Sandoval out. I was not vibing with that. And especially then too, there was one moment in reunion episode 1 where Lisa was like, it really hurt me, Sandoval, when you said you didn't need me. And so I was like, Lisa, you're gonna take a stance on like on Sandoval at this one point where you got your feelings hurt. Like, let's zoom out for a second and let's not expend the energy on pointing the fingers around the room. Let's focus on Sandoval and focus on supporting Ariana. You know what I'm saying? So that was,
I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like, that's the right thing to do morally, but I do think that she's being like, I feel like deep down there's a little bit of like, she just kind of looks at this all like the kids are having their drama again, and she's just kind of more, I want to maintain a level of anonymity here because we're all going to move on and we're going to have season 1,020,000 and this will be old news, and I don't want to burn bridges, and I want us to all be, I want to be a place for everyone to come to. And then I also think she knows it's her show, so she kind of has to be the Wizard of Oz a little bit. So I think she's just much less concerned with, I think she's just thinking, well, Ariana's hurt right now, but we'll all get over it. Everyone hates Sandoval. Like, I think she's probably going, yeah, this is the worst it's been, but I don't think she's grasping the level. I feels like she's not grasping. I feel like it's just the kids are being kids again a little bit. That's the vibe I'm getting from her.
Listen, I understand that there's a level of like, I want to make sure that all these people show back up for season 11. Yeah,
because if I go hard on Sandoval, he might say I don't feel welcome here anymore, and he's a big star, so I want to get rid of him.
And we want all these people for season 11, and I understand that. All I'm saying is, if you're going to decide to land on that strategy, maybe just don't say anything.
Yep.
And just be chilling. Don't be doing them the pointing the fingers, because there were numerous moments where Lala and James and even Ariana like came back at Lisa, and they're like, stop, you're defending Sandoval too much. You're going to come at me right now. Like, we all know why we're here. In different reunions, maybe Lala's been the center. Like, in different reunions, this reunion, we're talking Sandoval, Raquel, and a little bit of Schwartz here too. That's where the spotlight needs to go, in the sense of, if we're going to be pointing the fingers and coming for someone, and then you got to be supporting Ariana. Anyway, just a sidebar. But an interesting piece too, going back to Raquel, okay? In the reunion, they start talking about the Coachella of it all. The Coachella last year, where apparently Raquel has told people that Sandoval told her that Ariana and him were in an open relationship. Now, Sandoval, we hear him address this. He immediately says, I never said that.
Yes.
And so then Ariana and Sheena are like, well, then your girl's lying.
Yep.
So now the question is, somebody's lying.
Somebody's lying.
So it's either...
What do you think?
I mean, I tend to assume that Sandoval's lying because he's the king of all lies.
Right.
I assume that he's now trying to cover his ass and like, I never said that. And I think it might then fuel more of his hatred towards Raquel.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, she said what? But there's also the piece too, we talked about this a little bit last week, where, you know, Raquel might be trying to cushion the blow for herself and might have been thinking about that throughout these past few months, where it's like, well, Sandoval still isn't breaking up with Ariana. We're still having this affair. Maybe if I tell people that I just thought that they were open this whole time because he told me that maybe I won't get as much heat. But I'm assuming that's going to be a conversation in part 3. And there's part of me that thinks that might be what the big bomb is. I think maybe more information is going to come out from that, because that is a huge question mark. Because now we have the two people who've been having an affair who are essentially being like, he's lying, no, she's lying. And now are they going to go against each other? Who knows? Yeah,
I mean, I think he's maybe cheated so much that he maybe thought he was in an open relationship, but he just like forgot.
He's like, whoops, I
forgot
wait a second.
I'm hooking up people every week. So I thought we said we were in an open relationship because I've been living that way for the last 8 years.
Oh, it was never consensual. Okay, never mind.
Never mind. You said that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I remember you saying it was cool if I did it and I could do it whenever I wanted and then you couldn't. Something along those lines. You know?
Something like that.
It's just a perfect revisionist history. But no, I think that sounds like a thing he'd say. I could totally see him saying that.
In fact, I'm waiting for more people to come out and be like, Sandoval said we were in an open relationship. 100%,
because I could see him being like, you know, I don't want to go out here and be like, let's cheat. But if I kind of just, we're open, and then you don't really ask questions, and then you just kind of, because you want it, you kind of just don't need to do any more digging to make sure I'm telling the truth. You just kind of go, oh, okay. And then we're off to the races. And let's not ask questions so that we don't have to think about it. But like, let's just kind of live in that reality.
And it's also a way that then he probably feels like too, that he can like easily hook up with maybe a fan or two.
Yes, because he's going to be...
they all know about him and Ariana. So like, you know, of course they wouldn't want to go against Ariana because they love Ariana. But if then Sandoval goes, well, we're in an open relationship,
then we don't talk about it on the show.
Exactly. We want to keep it private. We don't talk about it on the show.
It's a good, if you're looking for a deceitful move, it's a great deceitful move. I got to come up with the move that doesn't make me look bad while doing the bad thing.
Which makes me so angry too, on top of everything else. Side note, that I'm just like, listen, don't now be making these like open relationships to look like they're deceitful. Right. Okay, an open relationship is supposed to be a consensual situation.
Right, and that's why he uses it.
Yeah,
because he's using that to his advantage, and it's like,
he's the worst.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, Raquel and Andy, they have the beginning of their one-on-one where basically Raquel says, "Okay, so I think I regret the restraining order." Yeah. That I had put on Sheena, who she says punched her. They go back and forth, by the way, amongst all of the cast members in the reunion, discussing if Sheena punched her or if she didn't. You know, of course, Sandoval is like dead silent for a while, and then it's finally like, I guess I'll say it. I don't want to, but I know that she said I fucking punched her and da-da-da-da. And Ariana's like, dude, you know that didn't happen. You weren't even on the call at that point. Also, like, you know, you're getting fed information from Raquel and you guys are planning your shit together.
Quick caveat in that, which was just so insane, was how, you know, Andy asks Sandoval, right? Like, did he punch, you know, did she punch her? Like, it was, Raquel, I don't remember who asked what, but I think it was something like that. And he just goes like this. And everyone's like, what is he doing? And he's just like, I can't say it. And they're like, well, and then Ariana goes, then you know what you should do? Not say it. Exactly. And he goes, here's what happened. And it's like he was so drama about the fact that like, I don't want to say anything because it could hurt my relationship with Sheena also. And I just know I shouldn't say anything. Well, then don't say anything. Okay, I'll say something. And then he just goes on and just destroys the relationship. And then he fights her about it. And it was just like, you are such a fake actor, dude. Like, you're faking sadness about the fact that you're going to burn Sheena. And then you just burn Sheena. And then you don't only burn Sheena, but then you go, You don't go, I know it's hard to hear. You go, Ariana, you tell. And then he starts fighting everyone on the truth that that's actually what happened. It's just like.
And it's like, at the end of the day, Sandoval, also you're sitting there in silence, I'm sure buying time, trying to figure out how exactly you're going to say something.
Yes.
But making it look like you're like so sad. Also, Sandoval, do you really think that after all of this, that people are going to believe yours and Raquel's story? Or do you think that they're going to believe Ariana and Sheena?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So anywho, they're going back and forth about who did what, who said what, or whatever. But as this is happening, then we go back and Raquel says, I regret the restraining order and I've contacted my lawyer to get a dismissal. And so can you give this to Sheena because I can't get within 100 yards of her, that I'm, but my lawyer is requesting to dismiss this restraining order. So then of course, when Andy gives it to Sheena is very happy. And like Lala said, like, the amount of exhaustion and pain that goes on having to deal with something like that in the court system and the time taken away from your family and all of this. And, you know, Raquel's watching, no tears, not seeing like how devastated, sobbing Sheena is, talking about how she gave Raquel a place to live. And that was like her sister. And then the fact that she just slammed her with this restraining order. My conspiracy brain watching this entire thing is I right away think that Raquel probably, which is like such a, if this is true, is like just such a horrific use of something that's so important, like a restraining order, like that's so important in our systems that people need to use. I think that she used that restraining order as hopefully a way to maybe avoid reunion situations. I bet maybe she was trying to pull off a Zoom reunion where she was fully removed, didn't think they would figure out that they could have them swap and do 100 yards away, or that Sheena might be down for it. I think to try to avoid any reunion drama, that she could eke her way out of it. And then when all of a sudden it's like, no, you actually are going to have to be present for this, right? That it was like, okay, well, now I'm going to try to play Mrs. Nice Person and be like, actually, I'm going to get that dismissed. Here's this letter that it's going to get dismissed. And so now you have relief. Because I do believe, and I have to now do some research on this, that Sheena still did have to go to court. So I don't think that dismissal went through, or I don't know what happened, or maybe she had to be at court for the dismissal. But I know whenever they had court that Raquel didn't show up, that Sheena was there. And then Sheena went on Instagram, which I thought was so important. And she was like, not only am I upset at this because of what it's doing to my family and my time, but also when you're sitting there and seeing how many important cases are going through and how many people actually in bad situations, to the time that's being taken, that hours and hours and hours of time that's being wasted. But I do know that she did go to court. So I don't know if that dismissal then just didn't end up happening. But I do believe, my conspiracy mind is that all of this was being managed behind the scenes as some sort of PR attempts. Because again, I think that Raquel during the reunion was still with her PR firm. I could be wrong about this.
This doesn't sound like something she would concoct.
But I also think that maybe Sandoval could have had a hand in it too.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? Just like, hey, it looks really bad that you just threw this restraining order on her. People aren't reacting to it well, because they had now had a few weeks after that had happened, that it's like, maybe you'll look better if you were like, I'm going to extend the hand. Because then you see the moment where Raquel goes, oh man, maybe I should have written a letter to her too. And you're like, dude. But I mean, gosh, there were so many then different moments. We have
Xanax bottle. That was insane. We have
Tom Schwartz pulling out a bottle of Xanax before Raquel's about to enter the scene.
And then you heard Sandoval be like, dude, just tell him it's your medication. Just tell him it's your medication. As a way to like, I don't want us to look bad anymore. I don't want it, because James was like, oh, look at pill bottle on hand for like the party boys. And then Sandoval, I took it like Sandoval was being like, dude, we don't want to look that worse than we do. Just tell him it's your medication.
We're like casually taking
not you're just
Xanax.
popping Xanax, but like, hey, dude, just tell him that like it's your medication. You need it. And and Sandoval and Schwartz is clearly going, anybody need a Xanny? Like,
I also saw certain theories too. Everyone's out there like with their theories. I saw theories because right before Schwartz pulled out that Xanax bottle, you hear Sandoval make some comment and like quietly say, green light, green light. And I guess that could have meant anything. Maybe that means that Raquel's coming. I don't know what that means. But I know people were throwing it out too of like, was that on cue? Was that planned that Schwartz was going to pull out that bottle?
I love the idea of Sandoval like being like a NFL QB. And he's just like blue 42, and that means for him to grab the cup of coffee, drink it, and say something about Ariana, 47 red. Oh, that means to put the cup down and make sure that you make a comment about Lala so that I can chime. Like they have all these plays, and he has like a play thing on his wrist, and he's like, 57 Alabama, and he's like, oh, okay, great. Lala, where were you on July 17th?
And Schwartz can't remember any of the cues, so he's just pulling out random stuff.
He's just like, that's not the Xanax bottle. That's not the Xanax bottle.
He's like, is this the time when I'm supposed to do push-ups? Okay, I'll do push-ups. It's like, it's all wrong.
He's like, you didn't bring the playbook at all.
The cues are wrong. But speaking of the cues, that was another moment where when Sandoval was coming at Ariana, blaming her for God knows what, that Ariana all of a sudden was like, there's one of your moves right there. I learned from you.
Yes.
That when someone's saying something negative about you at a reunion, you cut them off before they can finish to cover up what they're saying. And as she's saying that, Sandoval cuts her off and does exactly what he's taught her, apparently.
Well, at this point, it's probably just like second nature. He's done it so much now where he doesn't even know. His own rules have become, he's like a pro athlete of being an asshole. Like he's literally like, oh, I have my plays and I've done them for so long and I've done this and I know the outfit change and the whole thing, that he's like, it's choreographed. Like I know exactly, if the second someone starts saying something bad about me, I attack their character,
100%. And I wonder, my big question was when Sandoval, left Raquel's trailer and then comes back and is like, I want to be off camera. We need some time off camera. And they're like, no, if you want to be alone, you can go be alone without a camera in your trailer, but everyone's being filmed right now. It's part of it. And then he's like, no, I need to fucking be alone. I need to at least talk to her. Obviously he wants to talk to her.
He's trying to coach her.
Because he knows she's about to come on stage and they need to have some last minute revisions.
Because he's like, dude, me and Schwartz, it went bad. He forgot every detail.
He fucked up the timeline.
He opened me up multiple times to make me look bad. So we got to get on the same page. I have a feeling that like you've been in that trailer for a while. You probably forgot some of the things we worked on.
Yes.
Remember, Blue 42 is deny. Okay. Do you have the blue book? You know what I mean? 100%.
Yeah, the football coach of lies needed to come in and be like, let's get on the same timeline right now, Raquel, okay? There was even a moment where he starts telling her about what happened. And she's like, yeah, I've been watching it the whole time. And he's like, oh, okay.
Like, shit, okay.
But he also then is realizing that she's seeing. So it's like, okay, now you've watched this good. We need to have our alone time so that we can revise and make sure we're on the same page because certain things aren't going well. Let's have this strategy now.
Because I don't want you accidentally bringing up those 3 other things we never talked about,
But there was a moment where he was going off on one of the producers, like, we need to have this time alone. We need to have this time alone. And the producer was like, yeah, okay. And it cut. And then it cut to them all back sitting in their spots at the reunion. So I had a moment where I was like, did they give them a moment? It looked like he had been telling him no. But then Sandoval got so explosive at the end, the guy was kind of going, okay. And I don't know if the okay was like, we're going to give it to you, or if it was like, okay, enough, Sandoval, we're done. So I'm wondering, did they have a few minutes alone?
Yeah.
Or they allowed that? Because then Sandoval starts pulling out, you legally need to give us a break.
Yeah,
right.
Union.
And and the production was like, yeah, correct. You are allowed to take a break. You can go into your trailer and you can be alone and spend some time alone. But he's like, they're eating lunch right now. And because they're together, they're getting filmed while they're eating lunch. It's part of the deal.
Well, he has, he has my second favorite quote of the episode, which was, this is going really bad. That's what he said to himself under his breath while walking away from the camera crew. This is going really bad. Like he just admitted to himself, he's like, this is a nightmare. Like I thought I had a game plan. This is horrible. There's no coming back. But come see the extras at
unbelievable
waiting room.
But yeah, I mean there were so many other moments throughout it, but I think we needed to take our time to go over the Sandoval, Raquel. Well, that was like
the meat too.
Of it all, basically.
Yes.
The big hit points. And again, everybody, if you're listening to this Wednesday morning, then tonight it is reunion part 3.
And we'll have a recap out in 2 days.
And we'll have a recap out in 2 days.
This Friday.
Evan, I'm like shaking.
It's going to be sick.
I'm so on edge. And like, what is the bombshell? I hope the bombshell doesn't disappoint. I know they always amp stuff up.
It might disappoint, but I am entertained plenty by the episode
That's true.
itself.
I feel like I'm like, what more can we ask? Because it's been
Exactly.
such an absolute shit show that,
Exactly.
I mean, we really can't be too greedy, you know?
So good. So good.
All right, so tune in Friday for that. Before we go, quick call home.
Of course. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Remember, you can always call home.
Hi, Mom and Dad and
Hi.
Uncle Lee. It's your daughter, Bailey. I just have a question
Daughter.
on
I love
behalf
that.
of one of my friends. So my friend was talking to a guy that she met on a dating app. And she'd been talking to him for a little while. And he recently revealed that he has a child. And that is not something that she is ready for. And it just kind of turns her off. And my question is, how would you like politely let him know that like that's not really what she's looking for? And if maybe there was a way, like I know it's kind of preference per person, but I think that she would have felt better or potentially differently if he would have said something up front about it. So if there's some way to like gently say all of that or approach that conversation that's just like not what she's looking for, and maybe slightly blindsiding that they've been talking for a little while and he's just now bringing it up. Love you guys. Love the pod. Thank you. Bye.
Love you, daughter Bailey. Okay, a few things about this.
Okay.
Obviously, so understandable
100%,
on Bailey's
100%,
friend's
yeah.
end. It's like, you know, yeah, so
By the way, very sweet
understandable.
to call about your friend to help.
I know.
Yeah,
What a good
nice,
friend. I love that. But yeah, I mean, my goodness, so understandable. Like, that's a massive commitment. And also, if someone, especially like, doesn't want to have children in the future, I mean, just so many things. I would say this, and as far as Bailey's friend's response to this person that she's been talking to, listen, like, honestly, anything that her friend wants to say is completely understandable. I mean, for myself personally, I would probably send a message and just say, hey, I've been really enjoying talking to you and getting to know you. If I'm being honest, this is not, I'm not interested, and being in a relationship with someone who has a child is not something that I'm interested in. I know obviously you're a parent, so this child is a huge part of your life, and I think that that's amazing, but it's just not for me. And sending you my well wishes. You know, that's what I would say, is just keep it short. Like, obviously Bailey's friend does not owe this man any sort of explanation as to why this is not what she's looking for. Just something I think simple like that is great. Bailey, you did mention something about her then feeling blindsided by this person. So obviously I don't know the intricacies of how long they've been talking and what he already has said to her, and if this feels kind of like she feels a little tricked. If it sounded though like they had been just talking for a little bit or seeing each other a little bit back and forth. I think it sounded like they were just talking online. I do understand from the parent perspective that if I was a single parent, that just for my own privacy's sake and for the privacy of my child, I probably wouldn't lead with that. I don't know if that's the right decision or not. I think that's very person to person and individual thing, deciding how soon you're going to allow someone that you're chatting with into that part of your life. I really do think that it is person to person. I know some people feel really comfortable just like right off the bat being like, hey, just FYI, this is a part of my life. But some people are way more private, and I don't necessarily think that it's some sort of sneaky thing that someone's trying to hide. It's just more like, I'm presenting myself as this individual in this part of my life I'm keeping safe right now. And now that we're talking a little more, like, now I will let you in on that.
Right.
So I don't know if Bailey, if your friend and him, if they've only been talking for a little bit, if I would encourage your friend to confront this guy about it instead of just kind of saying this is my piece, I'm really not interested, and just move on. You know, obviously it's a different story if it's been a while and she does feel like she was bamboozled by this person and saying like, hey, I think it's important. And am I making any sense?
100%.
Okay.
I think
I feel like I'm rambling and I'm not making
not
any
at all.
sense.
You've covered kind of every angle of it.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, leave some for me. No. I felt like although it was so good, you know what I mean? And my only kind of side angle on it is, I'll start with the person not talking about their child.
Yeah.
And I also, and I'm not saying like, I'm just going to, like you said, we don't know the specifics, but I'm just going to say, I could also see someone go, hey, I go on these dating apps and I meet people, or I meet people out even, and I bring up my kid, and people are kind of, I'm just now a parent in their mind. And if they don't give me a chance, so I could totally see someone saying, hey, I don't get a chance. So I don't lead with it because I kind of feel like it puts me in a box, and people just assume certain things. And they're like, I don't think I'm ready for that.
And then I totally understand the flip side of then someone speaking to someone and then finding that out, and that's not something that they want.
Well, no,
and then feeling like, oh my God.
Well, no, I'm getting to that for sure. Yeah, no, I'm just saying like to start with that, going like, I could see how someone could get down that road and it could get a little out, it could get a little bit away from them, where they're like, oh, I've been struggling with the fact that I bring up, I'm a parent really fast. People are like a little on edge and then they leave. But if I can get them to like see who I am as a person, maybe they can see that we can find whatever, so I could understand that. Okay. That's one angle. The second angle is obviously your friend who's felt bamboozled a little bit. And like, from the vibe I'm getting, they probably were talking for a minute to the point where like, it was starting to feel like it's developing into something, then drops the, oh my gosh, I have a kid. She's very much not ready for that. That's on that person. I'm in the opinion of like, if you're getting to down the road where like there's emotions and connections and you're keeping this massive thing from someone, the person who's it being kept from has every right to feel however they want to feel about it. First of all, to your point, to kind of echo your point, I would say if you're not going to stick around, there's no reason to make it a thing. Just say, hey, you know what? Appreciate the time we spent together. I would just so you know, I would have really appreciated to know this earlier on, so I could prepare my mind and understand. But it's just not something I'm looking for right now. Don't think it's in my scope. I wish you the best. Call it a day. Don't spend time. Like, I personally wouldn't think it's a good idea right now to like give them a piece of your mind and go in, unless you want to like maybe fight through it and get through it and stay together. But if you're not going to, just like do your best to rip the Band-Aid off, move on. Don't waste too much emotional energy on like the intricacies of all of it. You know what I mean?
Right. 100%. And Bailey, it sounds like your friend is like, this is something that I'm not okay with, so I will not be continuing forward in a potential relationship with this person. Obviously, if we're wrong about that and your friend is like, this is actually something that was not something that I wanted, but I really am interested in this guy, so I want to kind of talk through it, then of course there needs to be that conversation about, hey, I feel bamboozled in this situation. I feel like you weren't being upfront with me. I don't feel comfortable with that. Like, let's talk about this. But again, it seemed like it's not something that your friend wants moving forward. So I agree with you. I think probably the best move is just to send the message of, hey, this is not what I was looking for. And move on and not expend that emotional energy on having to go back and forth with someone who's probably going to get defensive and, who knows. So, but sending you love daughter Bailey and your friend, and it's definitely, it's a complex situation. It's tough. And I'm sorry that your friend is feeling frustrated and in that, but
it's also like the person with the child needs to understand that this is, and I'm sure they would, but like needs to understand this is a massive thing. And that someone who doesn't have a child, like, it's a massive undertaking and a huge different thing. So if you're not if not on the same page, like all parties would have to understand that, you know?
Of course.
Well, we love you all.
We love you all so much. Tune in on Friday for the final Vanderpump reunion recap.
When Raquel comes into the room.
Oh my God. I'm sweating just thinking about it. All right, family. We love
guys.
you.
Bye.